A quick overview of the brand new The Americas pack, or Animal Pack I should say, the one that is launching to you in a couple of hours, or actually tomorrow for you, depending on when you are watching this video. So I'm going over all the animals that have been added and all the pieces, or at least partially the pieces that have been added. I put down a couple of those, but more about that in a second. Let's start with the stars of our show. First of all, let's pause the game real quick, and you can see we are starting with a little bush dog over here. This one is just in front of us to see he's sniffing a little bit on the blood, as you can see over here. That's quite a nice model, you know, a very tiny animal. I didn't know they are so small. Like from the picture they gave us as a screenshot, it was like more or less not so easy to distinguish, but you know, I quite like the model. I quite think it's a very neat addition to the game. Really love it. And then we do have one of our new introductions to the big cat, or actually I should say to the cat family. I'm not sure if that one is considered a big cat. I think it's not. It is the Ocelot, or Ocelot, Ocelot? I don't know. At least a climber, you know. I'm liking the model. It's not perfect. I think it could be a tad bit less cute. I think this is my main gripe about it, but what, as always, is pretty spot on, haha, no pun intended, are the spots, or actually the skin design of that one, the fur. Really big fan of this one, looks super nice. Look at the breathing, by the way. Yeah, I think it's, you know, it's definitely not the worst cat we have in game. I think I would consider it being amongst the better ones, to be sure. And yeah, I quite like it. I quite like it. It's really a good one. It's a really good one. Look, that's perfect. Big fan of it. Okay, cool. So we've got that one, and then we have the wonderful bighorn sheep, as you can see over here. That one is pretty good. Also, let me check which time of day is it, because it's kind of looking a little bit. There you go. A bit more light for us at 12 o'clock noon. That should be doing it. So there you have it. It's the bighorn sheep. This is Kai, only 1 star. What a poor little lad over here. But you know, let's just get rid of this one. So we have this wonderful animal. I quite like the horns, quite like the model. We do also have some females roaming around here. Let me check if I can see them real quick. There you go. There's the female variant of it. Yeah, you know, it's a sheep, you know. I would even say goat, but it's a sheep. But it just works as a goat, and this is also why they can use this goat mountain thingy over here. All right, let's move on with the greater rhea, or rhea over here. That's this ostrich kind of animal for you. I'm sorry, okay? For me personally, that's an ostrich. There is no way around this. It's looking like an ostrich, maybe like a little bit more of a mixture with an emu. It's basically an ostrich mixed emu. I think this is how I would call it. Yeah, what shall I say? It's a nice, great big bird. You can make a terrifying walkthrough habitat with a lot of these big birds now. We've got the emu, we've got the cassowary, we've got the ostrich, and we've got the greater rhea. All relatively different from, well, they're not really different, but different enough to be able to be distinguished. This one's mainly, in my opinion, because of the, you know, outer appearance with the fur and the feathers and stuff like that. The ostrich obviously has a bit more black to it, but yeah. So that's that one. Then we have some wonderful new flamingos, including this fellow over here. This is the Greater American Flamingo. I would have preferred to have the Chilean one, I guess. I mean, now with the Americas, we would have had the chance to get them. But, you know, it's the Greater American one. I think it's fine. It's a flamingo. It's good to have a second flamingo in game. The one we have in game, obviously, is a common flamingo. Is it called or is it? I don't even know how it's called, but I feel like is the very common choice you go with, and this one as a second choice, I can live with that. I can obviously live with that. Okay, we've got one more introduction to our animal list, and that is the Coyote. Where is the Coyote? Let's have a look. Actually, we've got 2 because the Saki is missing 2. But I want to do the Coyote. Coyote? That's the Asian version of the Coyote. The Coyote. Coyote. There is one sleeping over here. It's a lovely model. I like it a lot. For me personally, not living in an area where the Coyote is native to, obviously, I don't really have that much of a connection to that animal. But personally, I really like the introduction. For me personally, I think I've played too little with these kind of dog creatures. Like, we've got the dingo as well. We've got some really cool dogs in the game. But like this coyote type of animal is definitely a wonderful introduction to that one too. So, oops, there's the autosave. So that one is nice. And now let's see if we can find the saki. Oh, by the way, there's the other coyote. Look at that one. Oh, just got to go for sleep. Anyways, let's have a look. I should have more than there. No, where was? Do I have one or two? No, there's one. Look at that. You can now see one finally awake. There's one awake. Could you just play a little with the tug rope for us? Just give us a bit of an action here. Yay! There you go. Look at that. Make the video at least a little bit more engaging. Yay! There you go. Tuck it. Do it. Ah, that's so cool. Ah, look at that. Yee! So, I gotta admit, and this is something I personally, like this is totally on me, I do this way too seldom, and I do showcase these animations way too seldom. It's a shame though, because Frontier has really put so much work into these wonderful animations, specifically when it comes to the enrichment items, and that's maybe the reason why I do get why we haven't seen so many new introductions to those things over the time, because apparently this is a whole lot of work to make these animations right. And obviously they have the system in which they do benefit from having the same rig, you know, this one being on the same rig obviously as the wolf and as the dingo and so on. Makes do it again for us. Look at that, how lovely. You know, that helps because you can then exchange the model and just add a couple of these uniqueness things, iconic things to the animals, and then that should be fine. But you know, the animation overall is exactly the same, which, to be fair, I'm fully fine with, because otherwise you couldn't really do it. Anyways, let's go. There's the saki going up this thing. There you go. Come on, stop moving so quickly. Do I have to pause the game real quick? No, I don't. Okay, so okay, well, let's have first of all a look to that one. They're kind of ugly, aren't they? I'm sorry, you may be cute, but you are ugly. I cannot say anything else. You are definitely ugly. Don't look at me like this, you know? It's not personal, okay? It's not personal, honestly. But you are not the most beautiful animal in the world. Gotta admit. So, where's your male fella? He's vanished, I know. He doesn't want to hear the same. Where are you? I'll find you. No, that's a bush dog again. Where are you guys? Are you in the trees as well? Just like here or something like that? No, this is the perfect showcase. There's one running. Look at you. Look at you. I got ya. So, there you go. Look at you. Yeah, but I'm not a biggest fan of this model. I have looked, obviously, at some real pictures. I mean, it's not too far away. You can definitely tell it's a saki, but yeah, I don't know. I like me having some monkeys. Don't get me wrong. I definitely need some monkeys, because whenever I love building some climbable stuff and then having another one than typical like lemurs and so on, I'm very happy to have a bit of choice, you know. But it's not like ground-breaking. It's not like crazy. Look at the Ocelot coming up here. Oh gosh, I love that animation. Love how they go above that thing and then go glitch on that one. Okay, never mind. Well, that's been it about the animals. As I don't want to, you know, artificially want to make it longer than it needs to be, let's have a look at some of the DLC items. And I think I pulled off the most important ones. There are, and let me just pull up the menu so you can see that. If we go to Content Pack and America's Pack, you can see there is a lot of stuff in here, but most of it is just copies. We have a lot of confetti pieces, as you can see over here. There you go, confetti. But then we have these decorative things, and we have quite a lot of those. So 80 pieces was definitely something I expected a little different, not gonna lie. And we've also have these wonderful flag pieces. We've got some flower pieces. I'm just gonna placing them down here so you have a feeling of what I'm doing. There is like a piñata kind of thing. Some more piñata things over here. They though have a great texture, so you can do some funsy stuff with those. Like if you go for a bit more of a gray color, you can definitely use this for something like a wonderful kind of, if you want to do, okay, that's definitely still a mistake over here. That should definitely be different. Hold on, can we check this out with another one? Maybe this one works, because surely you should be able to, I mean, this is the early access version, so maybe this is just because of it. And then let me just, yeah, that one. It's definitely that's definitely a mistake over here. The Fiesta Piñata leg. should also be able to be colored in fully gray. But yeah, what I meant is you can definitely do some really cool, this almost looks like camouflage kind of thing. You can use them as like camouflage kind of elements in your habitats, but you can also do some cool backdrops of your habitats or whatnot. But what I do like a lot are these benches and all the park kind of stuff. We've got a new picnic bench over here, which you can obviously flexi color. You can just make it orange if you want to. And same goes with this bin. I like this bin. It's a very classic bin. And if you go for a more toned down kind of brownish color, maybe a bit brighter, there you go. It's a very classical kind of park bin. Love that. This one over here, I thought also this could also be, also I just thought maybe you can do something like this and then just completely go a little bit crazy. You can make something like an enchanted forest kind of thing. This needs to be a bit more like this. You know, a bit of a nicer thing. I don't know. I like the fact that you can have it. Okay, it's something I haven't really expected this way, and I'm a big fan. The Fiesta bench definitely comes in as a big surprise for me personally, because I haven't expected to have such a bench in this one. Then we have some very cool iron pieces, these one and also these tiny ones over here. They specifically come in handy. Don't mind this Coyote, this is a reward statue, but just to, you know, compare the sizes. And this is a bit more nice if you look at them, these things up close. This is a Fiesta Decorative small. This is like basically a rock, you know. Again, if we go for a bit more of a toned down color, just like that one, and you just make all the colors that one, then you do have, I mean, there's still kind of a little pattern in here, but that would also work like a pretty nice rug if you want to do some interior designs. Like definitely going to see this. Same goes obviously with that one if you want to make like a bit more of a, I don't know, bluish kind of colored version. You can do it that way. You still, again, you do still have a bit of a pattern, but I quite like it. I mean, you could now try to go exactly for this color to make it fully one colored, but you know, it's kind of okay. We have one Fiesta window molding piece, which is a very nice piece when it comes to textures and like a bit of a plaster piece, but I wonder why we only have this one. But then we have some wonderful Fiesta Ranch gate posts. The cool bit about these is they are indeed flexicolor, so you come with a very versatile new lock piece. I think they come in very handy. Same goes for these gate pieces, or fence pieces I should say. And last but not least, obviously the Fiesta confetti things that you can also apparently do flexicolor, so you can do whatever shenanigans with it if you want to. I don't know if you want to make kind of custom leaves with that. I don't know if you can, but to have some litter on the ground, they would work apparently. So if you want to have this as kind of a bit of stuff on the ground, that's fine. And for the free update, I believe it was, these are the daffodilus medium, whatever kind of flower that is. Daffodilus, I don't know. I'm not a botanical expert or whatnot, but yeah. So they're the pieces, they're the animals. I don't really have much more to say. Again, I want to put that in context. You don't see me escalate how amazing this pack is or anything, because it's not, okay? Let's be fully honest with you. It's a very decent pack. It's worth its money, yes it is, but I wouldn't rank it in the top tiers. Not at all. I wouldn't rank it too low. It's better than some of the other animal packs, in my opinion, my very personal opinion. And also it gets some extra pieces in. Is the number of 80 very holding up to its promise? Of course it's not, because, you know, from the 80 pieces, there are maybe 40 usable and the rest are carbon copies. And basically the animals are carbon copies of existing animals as well. So, you know, what should you say? I mean, we are so far into the development of this game, and again, I would have totally understood if they called it a day last year. Apparently this game seems to bring them money, and apparently they seem to be working on a new Planet title in the background too, which is confirmed. We all know 2026 there will be yet another Frontier Planet game announcement. We do know this year is reserved for Jurassic World Evolution 3, we know this year is reserved for fixing Planko 2, the disaster it was at launch, and they are still working and haven't changed anything. In the last financial report they still kept that notice that next year there's going to be another, like they don't say Planet game, but obviously they say owned IP creative simulation game, which totally is going to be a planet game of some sort, because the Jurassic World game is done. By the way, what have you done over here, Ocelot? Are you good? Shall I help you? And if you ask me, if I need to put my money on something, it is gonna be Planet Zoo 2. There is no way around this, specifically because this game is still doing so good on a financial basis. And this is why, obviously, this pack exists. And is it a bad thing? By any means, it is a good thing, because we've got a very good roster of new animals. There are some fan favorites in here people have been asking for. There are some zoo generics in here, such as the greater American flamingo. And there are some very cool new kitties in here. We do have some coyotes, which is a very liked animal that people wanted to have, some bigger birds. Like, there's a lot of the list that people wanted to have, and we shall not forget that this is an update for PC primarily at the moment, but this will also obviously find its way to the console, and console people cannot mod their games. So for those people out there, or people who don't want to mod their games, you know, people who just want to plug and play, this is a very neat pack to consider. If you're modding yourself out of the game, you know, and modding a lot, you potentially won't get this pack anyways, and that is fair too. But for now, I say this is a very solid pack, and even if it would have been released in the typical, you know, exchange of a animal pack and then the normal pack, I would have not rated that the worst pack. And saying this so far into the game with so fewer choices of animals, hey, that's a good one. So in general, this is actually worth the money. If any of those animals is actually a must for you, and you need some very generic pieces, metal pieces and some wooden pieces, hey, go for it. That's a neat pack. It's not amazing, you know, it's not something. If you've saved your money for something specific, don't put it on this game, don't put it on the DLC, that's fair. But again, it's just a decent pack at this time in the development, in the lifespan of this game. So hopefully you could have followed what I said. You don't need to agree, but hopefully this video was helpful for you to understand if you want this pack or not. And yeah, well, there's not much more to say. Hopefully you'll get it or not, but let me know in the comments down below what you think about this pack, how the animal models look, and so on and so forth. You know the drill, and I'll talk to you, as always, in the next one.